Hello, YouTube. Prof Sales coming at you with another Reselling Challenge update and live show. So hopefully if you're here in the room, you will say hello. If you're listening later, that's cool too. Let's see how our sound is. With another Reselling Challenge. Sounds good. And we are live and running. All right, so it is Monday, October 3rd. Wow, is it really the 3rd already? How did that happen? Glad you guys can hear me. Already some people filling in the room. A couple shout outs to, let's see who all is here. Man, if I can get my screen to adjust here a little bit. So there is John Houston in the room. Spiky, what's up, guys? Swamp, Glenn and Jen. Yvonne is here. Mark is here. And we are off and running. 13 people already watching. That's great. So Crafty is in the room. Burning Bananas. What's up, you guys? Crafty says, I'm here checking game pieces. I don't know what that means, but all right. Like board games, like you bought them and you're selling the pieces. That's cool. Glad to see all you guys here on this nice fall day, October 3rd. It is a nice sunny day here, about 81 degrees. Love this kind of weather. You wake up, it's like 50 in the morning and 80 by the mid-afternoon, and then it cools off at night. Man, I love this time of year. October is without a doubt my favorite time of the year, especially living here. I guess if I was somewhere else, it might not be so great. So how's everyone doing out there in YouTube land? Let me know what you're doing, how it's going for you. We're going to talk about last month. We're going to talk about this month. We're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about eBay. We're going to talk about sourcing. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. Karen just entered the house back in. She's trying to sneak in, but don't let her fool you.
Going to talk about all the record.
Ooh, that's going to change the light. I don't know. Might need you to keep that door open. Let's see how the light goes. And it definitely got darker with that. Yeah, you can probably leave it open.
Okay. Record highs.
Yeah, so let's see what everyone's saying in the room. Crafty says, bought a game checking if pieces are in the box. Then listen. Oh, cool. That makes sense. I've thought about doing that, but I never know. I guess you can go online and find out what the pieces are supposed to be, but man, I'm lazy when it comes to stuff like that. Mark says, great. Jean sales have been good and steady. Yvonne says, sold Lululemon stuff and Sugar skull dress. I have no idea what those are, but I've heard the terms, so good for you, Yvonne. Northeast is in the room. What's up, Northeast Picker? And all kinds of folks. So let me tell you about what's going on here, and we'll get started. So today, we'll get to the sales here in a minute, but today Karen and I went out sourcing. We finished up buying our jeans for the week. We're making a minimum of 150 jeans per week to buy. And I think we bought like 158 because we wanted a few, if they fell out, if you had defects and so on, because that happens. You miss it. So we bought 158 between yesterday and today. So really happy about that. Karen is going out of town to go visit a friend this weekend. She's leaving me. And so we're going to try to get as much done as we can over the next few days. So I'm looking forward to just, getting a bunch of listings done and so on. And it was great. We actually only had to hit 3, 5. We hit 8 stores to get 158 pair of jeans. That's pretty good, right? Almost 20 a store. So can't complain about that. 20 jeans per store was what we were able to pull out. Plus we pulled out some Amazon items as well. I pulled out some books, some CDs, some games, some things like that. And Glenn says party at your house because Karen's away, I guess.
Hey, I heard that.
So if there's a party, she wants to be here. Trust me. But anyway, yeah, so we got to, 150 pair we bought over the 158 we bought over the last 2 days. We hit an all-time high at a store yesterday. How many did we get in that one store?
Oh, gosh. 30-something.
Yeah, was it 30-something or 40? No, we hit 40, didn't we?
Was it 40?
Yeah, I think we hit over 40 pair of jeans in one store yesterday. We've never done that many. That was by far the highest. And yeah, I'll have to look at the total. I'm trying to remember if let's see. Yeah, we got yesterday. No, I take that back. We got 37 in one store, not 40. 37 in one store, 30 in one, 19 in another. Today was some smaller totals, but still strong. So yeah, we pulled out like 37 jeans out of one store yesterday. That was a record. I can't tell you why we got that many, but we did. So when you think about it, that's like $340 worth of profit probably. So not bad out of one store. We were in there for maybe 45 minutes, I would guess. And it didn't have a lot of jeans, but man, they were just good. Good brands, good sizes, good washes, just not a lot of issues. Mark says, ask if there's any sales at your Goodwills. No, Mark, the only sales my Goodwills do are on Tuesdays usually when they do a 25% off if you're a senior citizen. I'm not quite there yet, so no jokes about my age. Thank you very much. She's older than me.
Hey.
But anyway, we'll see a couple questions in the room. Mark said he's at a sort of a roadblock scaling. Yeah, that's tricky, Mark. It gets really tricky with that. You almost need to have help. And I'm very lucky to have Karin because without her, there's no way I could scale this business to any sort of a higher level. Any sales at your Goodwills? No. Do you have Savers thrift stores in your area? No, we do not, Yvonne. We don't have Savers in this part of the country. I think, where did we find like the closest Savers were? Wasn't it like
Virginia or West Virginia?
Yeah, it was like Virginia or West Virginia. It was hours away to a Savers store. So Savers is not an option here. Just Goodwill, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it. I don't know. But one of these days we'll take some travel time and just go on some trips for pleasure, but also we will do some business while we're there and we'll source some of these other areas. I'm curious how Savers is. Swamp says, get a friend who is older to buy for you. Yep, we can do that. Her mom sometimes will come with us, and we've utilized her to have the 25% discount. She loves Goodwill as well. So it's a win-win for both parties. We do have a weigh and pay here, but as I mentioned before, it sucks. So I'm basically paying about $5 a pair of jeans. And that is what it is. Ran into another reseller today. Well, not exactly ran into. So I'm going over to the books, and I missed, there was this one store we went in. It's got one section of books, and then the wall kind of juts out, and there's another section of books. And I just missed the second section when I first went through. So I went over, and I saw this woman, and I saw on her phone she had FBA scan up. And, she was scanning through the books, and I went over and told Karin, I was like, hey, because I've been thinking about getting FBA scan. And then I noticed she also had the little scanner in her hand. She had like a fob scanner, maybe an Opticon. I'm not sure which one she had. But she was definitely scanning the books. I could see the app up. But the interesting thing was, guys, I was going to go over and talk to her and say, hey, how do you like the app? How do you like the scan fob or whichever one she had? I couldn't tell. But I realized something. She wasn't scanning every book. She was cherry picking the books. Now, I don't know how many of you guys are book scanners out there, booksellers, but my understanding is if you're a bookseller, you don't want to cherry pick the books. You really want to go through and scan every book that you can, because the scanner is faster than you cherry picking. The scanner is faster than you going through and looking at a book. And plus, you're going to get ones that you would not have picked up because you wouldn't have thought they would have been worth anything. So I decided not to talk to her. I started thinking, would I rather her know there's going to be competition here, or would I just become the competition? She only had like 3 books in her cart, which I thought seemed a little light, given that she had probably scanned, how many books would you say were in that store, Karin?
I don't know, a couple hundred.
Yeah, at least, no, I think, yeah, I'd say it was probably more like 300 or 400 books there. She'd only found like 2 or 3. Maybe that's all there really was, but it seems like she might have found a few more. But if she's just cherry picking, you know, the big time books resellers tell you don't do it. The time you take to cherry pick, the scanner's faster, especially if you're using a downloaded database. You can go so fast, faster than your phone scan. So I don't know. It was kind of interesting, but I didn't say anything. Let's see. Spikey says, I have the Opticon. How do you like the Opticon, Spikey? And which one do you have? I know there's a bunch of different models, and they all have some different bells and whistles, I guess. Cherry picking comes easy when you're used to it. Romance doesn't sell mystery novels, so we jump and pass. Yeah, Crafty, but this woman was passing over like all the hardbacks, not even the fiction hardbacks. I mean the nonfiction hardbacks. She was seemingly passing over them. I don't know. I mean, she could have already gone through them all, but I don't think so because I saw her earlier in the store in another section. But I don't know. But anyway, probably just looking for textbooks. That could be. And there were no textbooks there really, Yvonne. Maybe one or two. There was just nothing. I picked up a good textbook yesterday at a store, which should sell for a while. Or maybe it was last week, actually. It might have been last week. Deborah says, I've been selling books for 3 years, and I would recommend scanning them all. Skip over ones that look too worn, missing the dust jacket. That makes sense. That makes sense. Susanna says, sorry, I'm late. Well, Susanna, you missed a lot. No, I'm just kidding. Glad to have you here.
There's going to be a test.
Yeah, there's going to be a test, and, you know, you missed out. So here's a question for the room. How did your September end up? Because I don't think we've really talked too much about that yet. Did it meet your expectations? Did you make your goals? If you had a goal, what sort of processes did you put in place that were successes or maybe opportunities for this month or so on? What does September look like for you? And what are you going to do to adjust for October? Because I'm sure you're going to adjust something. Maybe you're just going to keep doing what you're doing. But I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. So how your September was. And I'm going to share with you my results here in just a moment. So let me pull that up. We'll talk about that. Where did my results go? Oh, there they are. I'm actually going to start with my September results, guys, and just we'll do a quick screen share here, and I'll let you know how I did, and I'll show you how I've been doing the last few days too. I'm going to start with September, a little something different. All right, so this was my September right here. So I averaged 707 listings. I bought 331, which was really not as many as I planned to buy this month. I spent $18.91 on jeans. We took 405 photos, which was a record. We listed 356, which was a record for this challenge. We went to 22 stores, which was actually the same as we went to in July, which I found interesting. We sold 215, which was a record in this challenge. We averaged 7.2 pair per day. We grossed $52.05 on jeans alone. Our cost of goods was $11.50 for the ones that we sold. We obviously spent more than that because we spent $18.91, so we still have inventory left. Our shipping cost was $12.68. Our net total was $21.05, and our net percentage was right at 40% with a $9.79 per jean average. Sell-through was 30%. You know what? You love it when you're right, right? I said, I think in September, I'm going to sell through 1% today. 30 days in September, 30%. Right on the number. So I'm really happy about that. I hit that number. I'm hoping October will be just as strong, if not even stronger. So we shall see. All right, and let me show you what I've been doing the last couple days. So, and by the way, I mean, that's a great month. I mean, obviously I've got opportunity. When this is double and triple, arguably, this will be double and triple. So instead of $2,100 a month, we could be looking at a $4,000 or $6,000 net month, which is, you know, nothing to sneeze at. So let me show you how we've been doing the last few days. Let's see. There was Saturday. Saturday was a great day. 313 bucks, 12 sold for a net of 137. Sunday was, or excuse me, that was Friday. Saturday was smaller at only 6 sold. Not sure why such a drop off there. Maybe because Well, I don't know why. 142, still an an okay day, but nothing great. Yesterday was phenomenal with 14 jeans sold. That is our second best day since we started, for a gross of 346 and a net of 143, which is actually the highest net we've had. It actually beats this day a little bit just because of what sold and for how much. So yesterday was our highest net profitable day at 143 bucks. And I will show you some graphology here. Listings up, you can see it's been some peaks and valleys with just a tremendous sell-through over the last several days. It's been hard to keep the listings up higher and higher. Sell-through is now at or actually slightly above the 1% mark. So that's great for the entire challenge. It's at that, which is awesome, not just for September. September was actually even higher than 1% in a lot of ways because we kept listing the whole month. Amount sold, you can see is climbing nice, a nice line here, and the amount listed is climbing too. Just need to get this a bit steeper so that this will continue to grow. And then finally, gross per day is averaging right around 200 and probably 5 or 10 bucks per day is the gross that we are experiencing right now with this challenge. And I think that's going to get even higher because you see a lot of these data points are above that in the last couple weeks or so. So hopefully we will even blow that away. So those are the numbers so far. Hope that made sense. I know I kind of breezed through them, but hey, it is what it is. All right, let me go back to the chat room. Susanna says, my September was pretty good. So far this month, I've lowered my prices and making a ton of sales. There you go. And decide not to sell hard goods anymore, just clothing. Okay, yep, a lot of clothing is being sold this time of year. We've seen on the seasonality graphs. Deborah's month was slow, but didn't source much in August due to vacation, so to be expected. So there you go. You've identified a reason why your sales were probably slow. You didn't do as much sourcing, which means you probably didn't do as much listing, which means yada, 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 right? We all know how this works. September was good for Mark. His sell-through is 1.7. Man, that is awesome, man. That's an awesome sell-through per day. I mean, that gets it done. Congratulations, Mark. That's great. Shunka Cody, leather, cashmere, merino wool, boots, women's clothing, fall fabrics, alpaca, lamb's wool. All right. What are things you sold in September? Am I right, Alex? For 600 bucks? We were playing Jeopardy there? I'm not sure, but sounds good, Shunka Cody. All right. So Yvonne, you're steadily climbing. Yes. Susanna, it's terrific. Spiky, anyone know of a free eBay billboard creator for the store? Don't know that one, Spiky. If anybody else knows, let Spiky know in the chat. He's looking for a eBay billboard creator for the store. Or if you're watching this video later, you can leave in the comments down below. Spiky, you can check back. Maybe somebody will. Someone will see it. DC is in the house. DC Dacula. What's going on there, DC Dacula? That is an interesting name. What does it stand for, if you don't mind sharing? It's kind of unique. So if you guys, if your September was what you thought it was going to be, congratulations. Now it's October. You arguably could have even better sales in October than September, especially if you're a clothing reseller like a lot of people are watch this channel. But if your September sales weren't what you expected, identify it. I mean, here's the thing for me, guys. I don't know how you feel about it. You can tell me in the chat or the comments. When people say my sales were not as good as I expected them to be, okay, that's what happened. But now what are you going to make happen? How are you going to change in the next day, in the next hour, in the next week, in the next 2 weeks, next month? What are you going to do different to impact your sales and make them stronger? Even if it doesn't work, what are you going to do? Because I just hear people say that, and then the answer inevitably becomes something like, the answer becomes sometimes, oh, I'm just going to work harder. All right, but here's what I'm going to say to you. Here's what I'm going to challenge you on that. If you work harder doing exactly what you just did, isn't it arguable you may just get the same results? I mean, now maybe your problem was, well, you only listed one item in the whole month And this month you're going to list 100. All right, that's probably going to get you better results. But if you're going to keep doing what you did, you're probably going to keep getting what you got. You know, that sort of makes sense. So try to think about, I guess, you know, for me, I always think about this, like, what can I do to evolve and change and improve? Even if my results are great, doesn't matter. I'm happy with September, but I'm not satisfied. And, you know, hopefully you aren't either. Even if you had a great September, you should never be satisfied. You should always be striving. I mean, when you stop evolving and learning and growing and pushing forward, that's kind of when you wither and die. When you get complacent, I mean, there is no such thing as being complacent. You own your results, good or bad or indifferent, or whatever they are. They're just results. You know, they're not really good or bad. They don't, you know, there's no real meaning to them other than what you give them. But you do own your effort. That you own completely. So, you know, what's your effort going to be like in October? And what's it going to be on? What's your focus going to be? You know, how are you going to evolve? What are you going to learn new this month? What are you going to do different this month? What are you going to do more of? What are you going to do less of? One thing Karin and I did, we actually started this yesterday. We sat down and we wrote down all the things we wanted to do over the next week. And we wrote them on an index card. Do you have those cards or no? Yeah, Karin's going to grab the card. I'm going to show you what we did, guys. And this is something you can do. I don't know about you, but I like a visual representation of tasks and to-do lists and things like that, just goals, you know, whatever they are. But you can just give me any of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Those are mine. You'll see in a second.
All right, so this is one of Karin's. So we wrote down, Karin took a bunch of index cards and I took an index cards, and we wrote down a to-do list. But we wrote just like one thing on there, and we tried to write how long it would take if we knew how long it would take. Like, would it take 10 minutes? Would it take 30 minutes? Would it take an hour? Whatever. So Karin wrote, photograph, let me make sure my photo camera is good here. Photograph 150 pair of jeans. That's her goal for the week. So from this, we took this out and we said, all right, well, what are we going to do about photographing 150 pair of jeans on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? The 7 days. So now she can break that up. Because if you say photograph 150 pair of jeans, that's a little overwhelming. But if you broke it into 7 days, that's just over 20 pair a day. Not so overwhelming. Now, it turns out Karin's going to be out of town for a few days. So her time frame got even more compressed. She's going to do it more like in four days, right?
Yeah.
So she's going to do it more like about 35 jeans a day, 37, something like that. We had
some of those are going to be fun.
yeah, some of these are great. This was another one of hers. Finish and clean and sort her desk. She indicated that'll take 2 hours to do. So she is going to do that. I think later this week was your original plan, right?
I have to do it tonight because it involves rugby.
She's going to do it tonight. She's going to do it on tonight. And it's going to take 2 hours. Now, she can multitask and do some other things during that. She doesn't have to do just that. I'll show you some of mine if they're here.
They're not there in the car.
Oh, mine are in the car. How convenient.
You didn't want them anymore.
Let's see. See if she's got any other ones. Let's see.
Not any that you can show.
What is that?
What? Pharmacy.
Oh, gotcha. Let's see. Here's a mundane one, guys. Laundry. Now, she wrote 2 hours on here, and I said, but does laundry really take 2 hours? No, because you put it in, and then it washes, and you can go do something else. So laundry probably really takes more like 30 minutes. You really think about it all the time, if even that. But she wrote a specific day for that. Oh, yeah, here are some of mine. She brought them in. So,
And we put them on note cards so we could physically move them around.
yes, and we put these on note cards, guys, so we can move them around onto different days. Like we could, because we wrote the days at the top. We wrote like Tuesday. And then we'll say, all right, what are we going to do on Tuesday? And I put all the things I want to do on Tuesday, and she put the things she did. And then we started moving around and saying, all right, well, does that make sense because of this going on? Is there enough time to do that? Right? So it's really easy. We also did like process and ship, 30 minutes. that's kind of every day. It's going to take 30 minutes to process and ship the orders. It might take a little more, a little less, but it's going to take 30 minutes. So we wrote this down. We put one of these. I put one of these on each day of the week because I know I'm going to take that time. So I might as well plan that in my day. So after you do this for each day, after you make these big cards Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Here's one. List 36 jeans. That's going to take like 3 hours, more or less, about 12 an hour. And I have one of these for 4 different days. So it's about 144. Yeah, 144 jeans, almost 150. So after you do that, after you kind of figure out that daily schedule, then you can take each days and just make like a separate list and say, all right, here's a list for today and how we're going to do it. That way you don't ever have to, wonder about it. The cool thing about this list is too, you could reuse the cards, but when you're done with them, you could just toss them and say, woo, got that done. So anyway, that's what you can, that's a way you can use like just kind of an organizational system, and it doesn't have to be exactly like that. So you can figure out, all right, this is what I'm going to do for the week. And we did this yesterday on Sunday. We kind of had some downtime when everything was a little bit calmed down from the week. And we said, all right, let's figure out what our week's going to look like. So, and today we went out and let's see. Today we went out and it says source 88 jeans. That was today from 9 to 4. But we didn't need 88 jeans because we actually went out early yesterday. This was a great thing about this tactic. We actually went out early yesterday and got like over 70. So it didn't need to be quite 88. It actually only need to be like 78. So we basically hit that number today and we're done. And we got it done before 4 o'clock. We actually got done early enough to go eat a nice lunch together, which was kind of a treat. But so, that's off the list. Now, all this week is going to be photos and listings. We're not going to have to go back in and go sourcing again this week. And quite frankly, we kind of depleted our stores, at least here in Charlotte. So I'm not sure we would really get that many more jeans out of them. We need to let them reload a little bit and get a few more jeans back in them. So anyway.
And another thing, sorry to interrupt, but
it's what I do.
Sorry to interrupt, it's just what I do. But in assigning time values to everything, we also were a lot more realistic with planning, because it's one thing to say, take 150 photos. Can't really do that in one day. So assigning an hourly, for me, I can do about 12 jeans in an hour, but I can't do that consecutively because I get tired, I get bored. You can't list 150 in one day. I mean, I can't. Could. I mean, that's a 10-hour day of only doing that, right?
At least.
So it holds us accountable, right? It also keeps us realistic in planning. So with the note cards, we were able to move around and then put them on the board. I think you should show your board.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And last but not least, yeah. So this is what we use the board for, as Karin was mentioning. I'm going to try to show you this, but man, it's kind of big. I don't know if it'll all fit in here. So there you go. So there's no fun in my handwriting, please. I write like a third grader.
Yep.
So you can see over here kind of all the things we listed. We actually ran out of room as we were going down the list. And then we just kind of wrote the time and any other metrics we needed. And then we just went across each day and wrote how much time and what we'd be doing on each one. So it's all there visually. I need to do this a little better. It doesn't look that great. So next week, maybe it'll look a little more clean. But it allows you to see it each day, and you can just go in and, you can tell what you got in here. Like we got stupid stuff like, laundry, like we already talked about. Karin's got her Amazon and eBay store. She indicates about an hour each for those. She did not get those done yesterday, so those can get pushed to another day, either today or tomorrow, what have you. But you can kind of see what you've done each day, and you can actually just erase it.
And there's a sense of accomplishment to that as well. So. Yep.
So there you go, guys. A good way to sort of, set up your. I didn't anticipate this to turn into a an organizational video to tell you how to organize your week. But if you're kind of setting up your week, and you're trying to figure out what you got to do, break it down into chunks and think about it on a daily basis, even an hour. You could even go an hourly basis. Some people go 15-minute basis. well, these 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. These 45, I'm going to do that. That's fine if that's how your brain works best. But whatever you do, just the act of writing it down, all the experts tell you that makes you accountable to it. You know, saying it's one thing, but when you write it down, you see it there and right in front of your face, it kind of becomes real. Like, oh, that's something I really am going to do today. Oh, well, no, I think I will go play a game on my iPad for an hour. Nope, I got to go do this. I need to spend 30 minutes on this and 45 minutes on that. So that's what we've done. We're starting, you know, just kind of a little organizational system to sort of keep us both accountable, because we realized I would plan the day and she was planning the day, but they didn't always coincide with each other. So it's like, all right, let's think about everything that's happening at a week at a time so we can sort of see it, instead of, well, I say we're going to go do this and she wants to go do that, and all of a sudden we have a conflict. You know, we have conflicting schedules. So that's basically what we came up with. It's going to evolve and hopefully get better. I'll let her write it next time, because her writing is like a million times better than mine. But yeah, we just kind of figured out a good way to, and you know, you have to adjust it too, because things happen. Here in this area, I swear, I mean, if you hit traffic the wrong time of day, a 20-minute trip turns into a 45-minute trip or longer. And you know, that can happen to you. So you got to be cautious of that. Or an emergency comes up, something unexpected, and you got to change your plan. Fine. You can push something to another day. You can, maybe you get it done early. And then you can kind of say, oh, great, I feel great about this. Treat yourself a little bit. You know, like, you know, if you get all your tasks done for a day and then maybe a couple of them done the next morning, you've already got them done, you know, take that time to, you know, indulge a little bit. Maybe, you know, whatever makes you happy, go and do it. So anyway, I didn't mean to go on quite so long about that. So let's see what some of the comments are. Saw Chad come in the room earlier. Chad, if you're still here, what's up, my friend? Friends and family and okay. I've got Pittsburgh Mike says he's got one card written out for later. NAP. Is that an acronym, Mike? And he's like, all right, nap 3 hours. Hey, guys. There you go. Gomer, your handwriting is fine. Yeah, that's what you say now. But, man, you don't want me like writing up any legal papers for you for more than one reason. Nobody be able to read it. Who knows what you agree to. Was anybody else's Saturday unusually busy? That's funny you say that, Mike. I think you missed the part where I actually came in and talked about my Saturday sales were sucky. Go figure that, right? Yvonne says you can go to Sally's Beauty Supply and buy a $5 salon appointment book there by the hour. Yes, you can. You can even make your own.
Yeah, you can.
You can make your own as well, too. I mean, whatever you want to do, just whatever works for you. Krillin just said that's what computers are for. Yep. No, I agree, Krillin. And I mean, I don't know. There's something different about writing it down for me personally versus typing it in. And I'm totally about gadgets and apps and things like that when they can help you. And I've tried just, man, if you just saw all the apps that are no longer on my iDevices that are, you know, still there in the iTunes, in the App Store that are not on the device, it's crazy when you scroll through. But writing it down makes it, I don't know, it just makes it a little more real for me.
And I'm visual.
Yeah, and Karen is visual too, so she likes to see it in black and white so she can, you know, own it and be reminded of it that way as well.
And we weren't using our gadgets or our computers, so.
Yeah, we were struggling to use our gadgets with our organizational system. Karen liked one system, I liked a different system, Ben had his own system. I mean, we were all three in different, you know, so it's like we had to come together a little bit.
Well, and we have a life outside of online reselling too, so we have to find that balance.
Karen says we have a life outside of online, but I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, I am doing a YouTube show here. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like it does.
Fran says I like the visual on paper in my face along with the computer. Yep, I agree with you there, Fran. It's just something different about that. Man, it just makes it more real or more accountability. At least for me, it does. I don't know. To each your own. whatever system you come up with, guys, just use something, and you'll do better. Like, break your big goals down to smaller goals and break those down into even smaller goals, and then you can sort of manage them in pieces. Krillin says, may sound like a silly question, but you buy overalls, right? That's not a silly question, and the answer is unequivocally no, I do not. We never find them, almost never. And whenever I find them, they are just not in great shape. So, sorry. I would if I found some good ones. I know they sell, but I just almost never find them. It's like maybe once a month I might find them. One other thing we figured out today too, we were talking about, as we scale this up towards 5,000 listings, we couldn't figure out, we still haven't figured out a way to get the amount of sourcing done we're going to need. Like there's not really enough product in this area and in the surrounding areas, nor enough time to do it. So it just kind of reminded us that as we scale this up, and I'm not sure where the breaking point is yet because we're not there yet, it's going to be, we're going to have to hire somebody. We're going to have to think outside the box a bit. We also, I don't know if you guys saw that video I did on the sourcing guidelines on eBay. I know some of you did. But in that video, you see a big dip. It starts kind of like around the beginning of May and goes through into May, June, July, and clothing sales, and then starts picking back up in August. Obviously, we're not going to do the kind of volume in those months that we're going to do over the next 7 or 8 months. So we got to be thinking about what are we going to sell those months. So we're already making plans for that. Make sure you think about your business being, if it's seasonal, like clothing is, think about that. Think about, all right, well, what happens when my clothes that I sell are no longer in season? Like I sell a lot of jeans. So obviously those are not in season in the summer and even late spring, especially for large parts of the country. So what are you going to do to combat that? What are you going to use to replace it? So anyway, Krillin says, you don't find them down in Dixie. No, we don't have no overalls here, Krillin. Was that a good enough Southern accent for you? I'm actually from Virginia, but I can do the accent if I need to. No, there just aren't many of them, at least in my area. Maybe there probably are in other areas, maybe out in the rural areas a little bit more. It's not really a Charlotte thing, I don't think. So, I mean, have you ever seen them? Karen never sees them, and she looks for stuff like that all the time. I don't look as much. I used to look like a year or so ago, and I just never found them. I know there's some money to be made in them. Mike says vintage Oshkosh will fetch good money. Yes, that makes sense. That's a good brand, Oshkosh Bagosh. King Flip just got a truckload of jeans. Well, good for you, sir. What kind of jeans are they? Funny story on that, King Flip. I don't know why this made me think of it, but yesterday we were in a Goodwill, and there was a pair of jeans that had been sold at Famous Mart. If you ever heard of that store? I don't know what brand they were, but it still had the tag on it, and it was new for $3.99. And the Goodwill was selling them for $4.99, which I thought was interesting. And they were new. I mean, they still had all the tags on them, but you got to watch your prices. What did you do with that bag of damaged jeans? Well, it was actually more than just a bag. It was actually 2 big totes full. They are actually listed on Craigslist. So if you want to buy them, hey, buy or pick up. Give you a good deal. I don't know how much we put on them.
You put 4 or 5 a piece.
Yeah, I made them like $4 or $5 a piece, but we're probably going to have to sell them for less than that to really get any bites on them. But we'll see. Somebody might want to pick them up. So don't worry, you don't have to change your accent. Great. That's good. I really don't want to do that ridiculous Southern accent. There are some here in this area that would probably make you guys laugh, but Charlotte's a mixture city. There's a lot of people from the north who moved here, and there's people from the south, and it's kind of pulled in a lot of people from a lot of different areas. So it's kind of a weird place. It's not really a Southern I wouldn't call it a southern city. I wouldn't call it a northern city either. I don't know what it is. It's just something in between. I was saying you should. Oh, I got you, King Flip. I misread your comment. I was saying you should source jeans by the truckload to save you some time. Yeah, that's a fair point, King. It's just finding good quality jeans that I can sell and get them in the right price. The price has to be low because I'm going to assume these jeans are not going to be of the best quality or brands. So, that's something to consider. I'm not above buying pallets or even a truckload of jeans if the right opportunity comes along, but so far I haven't found it. I would love to do it. I mean, I told Karin that's like, man, imagine if we could just pull 1,000 jeans in. We could just spend the next 3-4 weeks just, photographing and listing. We just blitz them out. So, but, it's hard to find that many that are saleable, that many for a good price. Krillin says the only one I know from Charlotte is Ric Flair. Nice. Yeah, Ric Flair is actually not originally from Charlotte. He's from Minnesota, actually, but he moved to Charlotte a long time ago. And a lot of Charlotteans know Ric Flair, and his exploits here are. There's a lot of stories around Charlotte about Ric Flair. So, anyway, so what other questions you guys have? We have 27 people watching. Thank you guys for that. If you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, if you haven't already hit it, smash the like button, as Steve Rakin likes to say. And, just lets me know I'm doing a good job and lets YouTube know. Charlotte isn't Southern. What is next? The Pope not Catholic? What do you consider Southern? It's not Southern in the sense that it doesn't have a lot of Southern flavor. It's not, I mean, there is some Southern aspects here, I guess, things you would consider to be of the South, but because there's so many transplants that live here, it gets a little muddled. I mean, yes, there is a lot of, there is things like, NASCAR is headquartered here and there's a lot of race teams. Grew up as a Southern sport, not as much now. But, there's also professional sports teams. There's a lot of culture. There's becoming more diversity. There's a large African-American population. There's a large Hispanic population. Probably not a large Asian population, I wouldn't think, although I don't know the numbers on that. And a lot of people from a lot of other places. I mean, it's a banking center. Bank of America is headquartered here. Not really a Southern bank, if there is such thing as a Southern bank. But I don't know. It's not the South like, say, even like Atlanta is kind of metropolitan. Some of the parts of Georgia and the Deep South, definitely not. Arkansas, yeah, those places are a little more Southern, and other parts of North Carolina are a lot more Southern in their feel. Charleston is a lot more Southern, which is awesome, by the way. Great city. If you've never been to Charleston, South Carolina, just go. You'll thank me later. Just go. Peso says, I love how you say 3 to 4 weeks. 1,000 anything would take me a year. Pesos, but you know what you do? You just do it one at a time. You just dig in. You don't look at it as 1,000. You look at, I'm going to do these next 10. And I'm going to do these next 10. I'm going to do these next 10. I'm going to do these next 10. And that's how you do it. That's how you do it. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And that's how you do it with whatever your listing goals are. So anyway. Do you search for 90s jeans? I always do well with CK, Silver Tap. Yeah, sure. Calvin Klein can still be good, certain sizes. Silver Tap. Oh, we found a new one today. I don't have it in here. I'm going to type the name in here because I'm probably going to say it wrong. I'm going to type the name in the chat too, and I'll say it as well. But it is Pele. And I think it's got a reputation maybe as a skater jean for people like to skateboard, but I'm not positive on that. So if you've never, it looks like it's kind of a niche jean, not a huge following, but they sell for some decent money on eBay. So if you see that jean while you're out, consider picking it up if it's a good size and so on. Probably men's. I don't know if they sell women's too, maybe. I'm not sure. This is the first one I've ever found. So I don't know a lot about it. When I looked it up, I looked at the solds. It looked like it sold for decent. And, it has cool designs on it. Really cool designs on it. It's kind of a thick, baggy fit to it. I would imagine I think the one I got was what, 4234, I think.
Yeah.
So 4234 is what I found, which is a great size. And, just in general. Let's see here. Krillin says very ethnic. If you're talking about Pele, it might be Pel. I'm not sure how you say it. Yeah, and the store we were in had a little more ethnic flavor. This particular Goodwill, I love those stores. You find the best men's jeans. You find the best men's jeans in the Goodwills that are in a more urban side of town. If there's a lot of minorities that live in that area that frequent that store, drop off that store, you find all these different brands that maybe you haven't been exposed to or you haven't seen, and And I'm not saying, obviously you guys all have different backgrounds, but I'm a white male, so I grew up in a white neighborhood, for the most part. So I didn't get exposed to some of these things. So I got older, and you find all these great brands, that you've never seen before, and they're profitable. So don't be afraid to go to stores in other parts of town like that. You can find a whole new world of items that you just never even knew existed. So it's all about kind of getting out of your bubble. Actually, those stores are the best for sourcing. I find the best women's brands too, honestly. So anyway, yeah, but the ethnic store, if there is such a thing, they're great. I love them. So Susanna says, I have a pair of 501s I've had for almost 2 years. They're distressed and have 2 watchers. How low should I go on them? What about shipping? I had 28 on them and now 22. I would probably, I don't know if you're good till cancel or not, Susanna, but if you are, I would end that and relist. The first thing I would do. I would check your keywords, make sure there's no fluff words in there like great, excellent, awesome, amazing, wonderful, pretty, beautiful, handsome, perfect. I mean, those words don't really mean anything. I would make it all very keyword oriented. Maybe you already have, but they're 501s. You didn't mention the size. 501 should sell. So I would probably end that listing and relist it. If you've had them that long, I mean, I can't imagine a pair of 501s setting for 2 years. That's a long time for 501s to set. That's the long time for any pair of jeans, but that's a really long time for 501s. They usually sell, I don't know what my average 501 sell time is, but it's measured in probably a month or two at most. So 29 by 30. Yeah, not a great size there, Susanna. Check your photos, obviously. I would do, I would make the butt shot the first shot. I mean, they're men's jeans, but I would make that the first shot for sure. If you have any measurements in there, great. That'll help. Fill out your item specifics, all of them in this case. But just relist them or, end them and relist them. I would definitely do that. Give that search engine time to go in and re-index those. Maybe they've just gotten pushed down so far. I don't know. $22 is, if they're $22, even with shipping added on, I don't think that's a lot of money. I mean, Crafty has a good idea there. You could raise the price and put them on sale. That can work. Raise the price if you can raise the price and mark them down 20%. That's a great idea. I mean, I think that'll move them. They should move those. Like, there's something weird about that listing, probably. And I would just end it and relist and maybe you have been relisting every month. I don't know. But, just end it and relist or sell similar. What?
Does she have them men's or women's? Or
they're men's, 29 by 30.
But if she had them listed under men's, remember that's
an
issue.
Karin said make sure they're listed under men's, in the category. Maybe they are. We're just guessing. We don't know everything about your listing, but Fran says VCU area is like that, love sourcing here. Yeah, and that's in Richmond, right, Fran? You're in the Richmond area, and we travel through there every once in a while. eBay is having a freak out or something. DNS errors. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Clear your cache, clear your cookies. That might help. Try it on a different browser, maybe Princess Hustle. Sometimes that'll work. Oh, Crafty already said change the browser. So found a Pele. Am I saying this right, guys? I don't know if I'm saying it right. A Pele jacket at the bins yesterday. Great. I think that'll that will probably, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a
Yes!
cool.
$2. That makes my grand total $4 of found money. Woo, woo, woo! Continue.
I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but Karin just found $2.
See? 1, 2, 1, 2. And I'm having a little party. Woo! Look at you laughing.
She just found, so she's now up to $4 she's found in jeans pockets. She's almost bought a pair of jeans at Goodwill. She got so excited about that.
I always do.
I have never found money ever in a pair of jeans.
Tell the truth. What's the only treasure you ever found?
I did find a condom once. It was still in the wrapper and sealed it, but that's the only thing I've ever found. Lucky me. But so Karin is just, she's just, does that mean I don't have to pay you for that time for listening to those?
Yeah, that's what it means.
That's not what it means. Let's see. Nope. Look up, Prof. Pele. Oh, Pele. Oh, that makes sense. What is big is one jeans that you have sold? Yeah, I'm not sure I understand that question, Henry, completely. Are you saying what's the biggest jeans you sold? By the way, I got a pair of size 44-35 Coogis in a flat rate today. If you've ever shipped Coogis, I know some of you've shipped bigger jeans than that, but Coogis are big jeans because they have a lot of fabric. They do not fold up and roll up easily. So I was pretty impressed that I got those in there. 44-35 Coogis are a big pair of jeans. So anyway, yeah, that package, Karin's like, the package didn't rip. I was like, no, not yet. But if the post office breathes on it the wrong way, it probably will. But you can get some pretty big jeans in those padded flat rates. So Susanna says she found a $20 in a pair she bought on eBay.
Woo!
Bonus. That's awesome. So you got those for free. You came out making money on those. So yeah, I don't know what your question was up there earlier, Henry, about the biggest size. I found 50-32s. We found a 50. What was it today?
God, like a 58, 30. It was bizarre.
Yeah, Karin found like a 56-32 or something today, and I don't know what brand it was. They had too many issues. We couldn't buy them. I mean, you're not going to fit those in a padded flat rate. I don't care how well you do. But, there's some big jeans out there. And when you can find those big jeans, man, they sell. You could probably make a case. Mark and Mike and I have talked about this before. You could probably make a case when it's those larger size, anything over 50, especially 50 and up, you could probably buy just about any brand as long as you get them for a cheap price and flip them for decent money. Crafty says, I like the large sizes, but find the inner thighs are like paper. Yeah, that's true. That's the problem. Sometimes it can be really thin. You really got to watch the inner crotch wear there too. Sometimes on certain brands, it'll just be worn out. And, nobody wants to buy that. I mean, if they buy a pair of jeans from me, they want them to last for a while. So be careful of that. You got to be careful of every pair, but specifically those bigger sizes, men's and women's, honestly. But they will sell, and they'll sell for good money. I mean, you'll be able to sell those for a decent amount. It depends on the brand to some degree, but when they're that big, I'll buy them. As long as there's nothing wrong with them, I'll buy them almost any brand. So, but did we get any other new brands today? I don't think we did we? Did you get any?
I don't think so.
Today was all the same boring brands.
Well, we got Eddie Bauer's. We got a few Eddie Bauer's.
Yeah, we picked up some Eddie Bauer jeans. we've been experimenting with those a little bit. You know, I've got all these niche brands that are kind of like, you know, one of this one and two of that one. I don't know. We'll see if they really sell or not. I don't want to go deep on them because I just feel like I don't know them that well yet, and I just want to see how it goes. Krillin says, what about denim shirts? I just picked up a nice Wrangler denim shirt. Probably, yeah, absolutely. Especially the pearl buttons. Those are awesome, and they will definitely sell for well. Oh, we don't have that one Ralph Lauren in here, do we? I think we did.
Ralph Lauren what?
The one I got that was at the
polo shirt. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh yeah, so we'll show you guys this. So just to show you, I don't buy only jeans. So I was at a Goodwill yesterday, and guys, this is why you have to have awesome friends in the reselling community if you can get them. So I saw this item, and I wanted to see if it was worth anything or not. And it wasn't jeans, and it was clothing. And I thought, you know, I know the brand, but obviously I don't know about this particular item. So I texted Ronnie Hart of Hart's Pickers fame. I said, hey man, what do you think about this? And he gave me a little insight, and I decided to buy it. So we found this nice, let me see if I can show this to you guys. Polo rugby hoodie.
It's gorgeous.
How many times? I mean, you don't see a lot of polo rugby hoodies. It's got the nice established 2004 tag in it. I don't know what year it actually is. It's a size large. It's got a tie down here at the bottom, which is kind of interesting. I don't know why I find that interesting, but I do. It's got the monogram sleeve, which is Ralph Lauren something. I don't remember what these other two are. I'll have to look them up. And it's just kind of cool, you know. Nice little stripes on it. A couple little spots on it. We thought we may actually wash this one, believe it or not. Ralph Lauren rugby, yeah. So, but I picked this up, and it was at a Goodwill, and you know, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. You know, it's in good used shape. Yeah, Susanna says I've made $50 off those. Can get 40 to 50. That's exactly what Ronnie said. He actually said a little lower, but it's in pretty good shape, you know? I mean, I was really surprised. I've never actually seen one before, but let me tell you why I bought it. We only paid $3.99 for it. So, you know, it's not that we're going to lose. It's just a matter of how much we're going to make on it. But the reason I want to show it to you guys is, you know, we had just walked into the store. Karin had got a cart. She was heading the jeans. I was getting ready to head to the books and CDs. And this top was just hanging there on a rack, staring me in the face. I mean, it was literally like this, looking right at me.
It was talking to you.
And I thought, that's kind of different. Like, I've never seen a Ralph Lauren hoodie before. I mean, I knew that there were hoodies, but I never really actually saw one. And I'm like, I wonder if it's worth anything. And I didn't really think more about it. And I actually walked away, and we finished sourcing the store, and we came back 20 minutes later, and it was still there. And I was like, well, you know, I don't normally buy these, but you know, in the essence of it, heck, Ben could wear it, but I don't know if he'd wear it. Heck, I could almost wear it so large. Probably could. And I thought, you know, why not? We're here. It's $4. And, you know, sure enough, I sent it to Ronnie. He's like, yeah, man, it'll probably be, you know, $30, 35, something like that. And he's like, it's pretty cool. And it does not have the Polo logo on the front. Not that I can see. No little guy on the pony. Just on the sleeve. It's got, I'm not sure what this monogram means. Can you tell what those letters are, Karin? Is it Ralph Lauren Rugby Club, maybe? That doesn't look like an R. That looks
an R.
That's an R?
Is it an F? Football club?
Football club? That doesn't make sense.
Well, some people call it football.
Rugby?
Sure, why not?
No, they don't.
You kick it with your foot.
That's soccer.
Oh.
So it says there's the monogram on there. So I guess the point was, guys, you know, I mean, I'm not going to research everything that I see that, you know, like catches my eye. But if it's just staring me in the face, we were actually getting ready to check out. And we were in line. It was going to take like 10 minutes before we got rang up. And I'm like, well, I might as well take a minute. And, you know, it's Interani. So anyway, so if it goes for $30, I don't know. You know, I'll clear what, 15, 18, 20 bucks on it, whatever, something like that. Maybe 15 to 18. I don't know. But my point is like, you know, if it's there and you got nothing else going on and it doesn't take away from your time, what you're primarily doing, grab it. Anyway, cool little shirt. If it, Krillin says it doesn't have the polo logo. Yeah, it doesn't have that, but I don't know. Who cares? It's still going to say, it's still going to say Ralph Lauren in the title. I can guarantee you that. When we get around to listing it, which will probably be like never, but, we've got it one day. Hell, I might just wear it. I'm thinking I might just wear it. I can wear this thing.
You should put it on right now.
I should put it on?
Right now.
Karen says I should put it on. No, I don't think I'm going to put it on.
I'll talk.
Oh, wow. It's got padded, I guess these are padded elbows.
Yep.
All right. So Karen wants me to put it on. Let me see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's big enough. It might be a kid's large. It's kind of tight.
Okay, you have to put on the hood.
It's really tight.
Wait, here you go.
All right. So anyway, guys. So anyway, as I say here in my Ralph Lauren polo, and now the sound is really muffled. But anyway, I feel ridiculous. But I think that's going to do it for this show, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming out. 25 up to 30. I think we had 32 viewers at one point, which is awesome. Yvonne says for poker. I do play poker. I am a former poker player. Still do it every month. Actually getting ready to go do that in a couple months or into next month. But thank you guys for coming on and watching today. If you will, if you're watching this later, leave me a comment down below. And I try to answer or reply to every single one of them. And, you know, please hit the like button before you leave the room as well. I'd appreciate it. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. And consider subscribing to Prof Sales so that way you get every video when it comes out. Henry says gang Prof Sales. I don't even know what that means.
No, it's OG Prof Sales.
It's OG. Right. So anyway, guys, but thank you guys for coming out on a Monday afternoon. Go out there, make those lists, hold yourself accountable, and make your business better today than it was yesterday. And it's going to be even better tomorrow. And I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you guys all really soon, probably tomorrow.
I'm here for the beginning.
It's so funny. You always point the wrong one on camera. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for tonight. So as always, this is Prof Sales.
And Karen and Gypsy and Earl saying
good sales to you. Bye, guys.
Bye.